so glad we already found those 6 statues. No, I was vibing to the song. I'm sorry.
Have you created what we need?
With this, the proper ritual will sunder every titan from its spirit. But you must know those severed dreams will certainly be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger.
Oh, there's the blight.
It's awful what we're doing.
And the only way to end this war.
They killed the titans. And I think that's the curse. You were right, Alistair.
Solas
I think.
made the weapon that killed the titans. No,
And it looks
not
like it's
killed.
the lyrium dagger.
He cut away their dreams and left them broken and mindless. He
Basically
passed me in the
tranquil.
halls of Skyhold for a year. He made polite conversation, and he knew. He knew what he did.
Is that what freed the dwarves? From originally being, like, controlled by the titans? I thought she was... Mythal. Mythal was the goddess of motherhood and a protector, at least originally. Probably changed after she watched the elves fall, first losing the homelands to the Tevinter, ending up as slaves, then rebuilding and having their new homelands destroyed and many isolated as second-class citizens in the alienages. Yeah, really, can't be kind of been easy to watch that. Phew.
No mystery why he wants to forget this.
As a mage, and apparently a scholar.
And the interesting thing is that Solas did that, but Mythal wanted that. I guess to stop the war. But boy. Oh boy. That's a very drastic measure. I wonder why they were fighting to begin with.
Solas doubtless regrets destroying the minds of the Titans.
Ah, well, I guess about the Titan blood and the lyrium. Yeah, seems like they were really the bad guys here.
No, it's worse than that. That isn't what Solas regrets. Those severed dreams will be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger.
Mierda.
You can't. That's not possible.
When a warden hears the calling, it's like a song in their mind. Sound familiar to you, Lace?
The song of lyrium. Of the Titans.
We think of the Blight as this monstrous force with no mercy, no compassion. Evil incarnate. Instead, it's a caged animal. Mistreated and imprisoned for centuries. Until all it knows is fear.
Yikes. And they did all that just to create their own bodies? Just to get the lyrium? Crazy how Mythal changed. I mean, seems like in the beginning she was the one who decided to do this horrendous thing. And in the end she still goes and tries to stop the other Evinuris, who then seems to be worse than her. I mean, Solas is a hypocrite. Could have already said that before this memory.
In all my talks with him, Solas hates the Blight more than anything. Even more than Elgranon. But it wasn't hatred, it was guilt. He knew this could happen, and he still didn't stand up to Mythal and stop it.
Each of these memories has been a deeper regret, and almost all of them involve Mythal.
Only one mural left to uncover by my count. If we find it, we'll see what's worse than this.
Mythal dying? But we already saw the one involving her to being sent away and then dying. Oh boy. Let's see what the finale is going to be here. Here we go. View the final regret. dying or being dead. What?
I knew that you would find me soon enough. You need the power of a god, the strength that I alone still carry.
The blighted Evanuris will soon break free from their prison. I must make a stronger one that can contain them.
I think that's the end of Inquisition, isn't it? When he because I mean, look at Mythal. She looks like Flemeth, the white long hair, the headgear. It's just not her voice. That's the end of Inquisition.
While the prison is important, it is not the only goal you seek.
Why should I not tear down the veil and bring back immortality to all the Elven people? They deserve it.
The Elven people of today do not deserve to see the world they love be torn apart to salve your conscience.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
I must fix what I have broken. I am sorry.
As am I, old friend.
Solas killed Mythal? After all that? Is this
So crazy.
another memory from a different time?
No. He wore that same outfit in the Inquisition. We knew Solas woke up in this world without most of his power. Now we know how he got it back.
By killing the only other god around and stealing her power.
It's really crazy after all this that he went and just killed Mythal.
All that epic magic and godly power. In the end, it comes down to love and murder. Same as always.
But yeah, being a spirit or a demon or whatever of pride, he thought he had to make it right and that he was a means to an end in the end. Because I mean, before that he never really thought or acted like she had to die, right?
Every big mistake Solas made is tied to Mythal. He sacrificed his life as a spirit to join her.
He sacrificed his morals when he created the dagger to stop the Titans.
When the other gods struck her down, he destroyed the Elven Empire to avenge her.
Then he wakes up in this world, where everything's gone but his mistakes. And there she is, alive.
And after all he's done, she sides against him again.
All these mistakes are his fault, and hers too. If she won't help him fix the world, of course he has to kill her.
So, how does everything we know help us now?
He's being honest about fighting the Blight. Whatever happens, he won't risk letting it back out into the world.
Agreed. But he has a plan to escape that prison, and not one we'll like.
He turned on Mythal, the one person he was actually loyal to. There's no way he won't turn on us.
He's a spirit, or was once.
I mean, he also turned on the Inquisition, on whose side he fought along like forever.
He might be able to possess someone, affect minds, all the things spirits do.
He created the veil. His very nature is tied to it. That will be a source of strength, but also a potential weakness.
Mythal has him all messed up. Anything about her or Elgarnon is gonna make him angry. Sloppy.
I would love to talk with Morrigan about all that. I wonder how much she knows, because for sure she knows way more than we knew before those morals. But I wonder how much she knows.
Solas thinks he knows what's best for everyone. Anything he does, he'll do while telling himself he's the hero.
And that he can make the sacrifices. I'm not sure if I would say he's wrong but not evil. I mean, his aims are not motivated by like evil morale. But in the end he's like very quick to decide who has to die and who doesn't, right?
The bad news is that the god of lies and trickery is almost definitely preparing to betray us.
How
The
surprising.
good news is that we've gone through his dirty laundry.
So, we know his motivations. You think we can set a trap of our own?
That's the hope.
You have witnessed the Protector's tale, Dweller, almost to its end.
Almost? How can there be more?
There's more?
When the mighty fall, their echoes cross the ages. An audience is warranted. Speak with your visitor. She awaits you in the crossroads.
Who is our visitor? Is it Morrigan? Is it Morrigan? Oh hell yeah, of course we're going. I'm hooked. People want to talk, I don't care about that right now. I'm hooked. Let's go. Mythal, you think Mythal's still alive? Diana? I would be very surprised, because I mean, we just saw her dying. Then again, she died before and somehow survived. Impulsive, not thinking too much of consequences. Yeah. And I think Solas is just like kind of too... I think he's kind of too self-absorbed and too arrogant. Because he's like, okay, the way I'm doing it, it's like necessary. Those deaths are necessary and like the least amount necessary. Without questioning like, is that actually a good thing to do? Do people need to die? I mean, yeah, his sin is definitely pride. Who do we take? Neve and Lucanis. Here we go. Tha's resilience as a cockroach. I mean, the other Elven
More
gods
of the fade.
killed her
This
too, but death
place,
seemed
it
temporary
feels
to her.
designed to make one lost.
Eggish. Curse of the egg, Luna. Curse of the egg.
Well met,
Right.
Rook.
It's Morrigan! I knew it! I called it! I mean, we did see at the end of Inquisition that Mythal sent away something. And I'm still 120% sure that something was sent to Morrigan. So, Morrigan, my dear.
How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's Crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solas and Mythal?
Ah, it's so
Mythal?
cool!
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form.
And of course she
Then, when
knows.
Solas spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait, how do you know exactly what we saw of Solas's past?
'Cause
Think
he
upon
knows.
it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories.
He has
When
Mythal's
Mythal
memories.
stood against the god's manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
Is it cause spirits can't really die or something like that? I mean, she's probably goddess of life, so she can recover from death. I think we're just about to find that out, Diana. You can also kill her in Origins and she still will survive. True.
So, if Mythal
Morrigan is Mythal now. I kinda suspect that.
was originally a spirit, maybe that's how she survived her body's death.
Very good. Mythal was a spirit turned Elven. And when her body was struck down, to spirit, she returned. Her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries, she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew. until once again she was struck down, on this occasion by Solas. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
That's what she
Then
sent.
where did they... Wait.
That's what she sent, and she sent it to Morrigan.
You?
As you say.
I knew it! Nice!
You're Mythal? That's why the ambient magic around you is so fractured.
Such a flattering picture you paint of this ancient bond.
Eerie whisper.
What? That was like how Elgarnon and Gillenane can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remained free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
Interesting. So no powers, but all the memories, all the knowledge. Why aren't you Elven?
How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
The fall of our civilization, the wars, everything elves went through. Where was Mythal for us then?
After the god's betrayal, she was a shadow of her former self, bereft of her power, slowly regaining her strength over the centuries. So she aided the elves as she could, speaking in dreams and offering counsel that ended blights and prevented wars.
And helping the hero for Elven.
At least now we know.
Let me send a part away before meeting Solas at the end of Inquisition and went to Morrigan. Yeah, as I said earlier. But I was suspecting that it went to Morrigan.
So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mythal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
So to some degree, Mythal is still alive. As a spirit. That's cool. So cool to finally learn more about Flemeth and Morrigan after all this time. I kind of want to say all of those answers. Sounds incredibly weird, sounds terrifying, sounds amazing.
I don't think I'd recover from that.
Neither did I, at the start. Mythal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me. But I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused?
But it means that Flemeth told Morrigan the truth when she said, like, you never had to fear anything. You have to accept out of your own will. So Morrigan was right in Origins. At least from what Morrigan told us in Origins, it was more about her mother taking over, right? Not about Mythal taking over. But yeah, to some degree.
In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again.
Oh.
And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mythal's and of those who bore her.
Gosh. Must be incredibly wise.
You would have met Solas in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mythal's memories. At the time, I thought Solas a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments.
Relatable.
He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
It's so cool. Is that the quest line, Manachan, where you said like there was so much lore dropped on you and it was amazing?
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elgar'nan? Or Solas?
The last time Mythal faced Elgar'nan and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solas?
You may recall he murdered Mythal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right.
How unlike previous Morrigans to just share. Such a cool character. I know Morrigan and I had our differences in the past, but it's amazing. I love it. Such a cool moment. Yeah, this is it. It's really, really cool, Mana-chan.
You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mythal.
I am not Mythal in her entirety, but yes. The Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solas?
I also like that, compared to Origins, which was like the last Dragon Age game we played, the current Morrigan sounds kind of like a mix of like the original Morrigan and a little bit more of Flameth, right? Oh gosh. What do we make of Solas? Let's first start with a question.
I should ask you. Mythal knew Solas better than anyone.
I would influence your answer. What do you mean to discover if I would stand directly against the Dread Wolf, were there a need?
Would you?
I shall aid you in any way, but that, even had I the power. What has passed between Solas and Mythal? I beg you, do not ask this of me again.
Aww. Gosh, how horrible it must have been for Flameth/Mythal to be struck down by Solas. And still, remembering that scene, thinking back to it, Flameth was expecting that. She wasn't surprised. So I guess she still loved him to some degree. I guess the question is, do we fully condemn Solas? How do we feel about him? How does our Rook feel about him? I think he's a self-fitting monster is too crass. Especially given our Tevinter and Redemption background. And also with the memories, it's not black and white. I think trapped is kind of fitting. Kind of trapped in the past, right? He's torn. I think torn is also a good answer, Diana. Doesn't know it. He's trying to help. I mean, he thinks he's trying to help, but that kind of is like too easy, I'd say. But I think our Rook would actually feel sorry for him. Still. So I would go for 3. But I think
every decision
Torn
he
is
made,
also a good answer.
Solas thought he could save people, stop things from getting worse. Now
And
his
making
only
it
way
worse.
forward is a plan so terrible his last friends had to stop it.
An unfortunate belief. that all paths are closed but those one has already taken.
There might have been a better choice.
'Tis not malice which made Solas your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion.
And here
Yet
we are again,
Solas was once
pride.
beloved of Mythal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
Oh gosh, I feel like we have to make an important decision regarding Solas. But I guess, yeah, one of the key differences between our Rook and our Inquisitor is that Rook still thinks they might be able to save Solas, right?
Maybe there's a way we all get what we want.
Do you truly believe such a thing?
Well, maybe at least what we deserve.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mythal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solas recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mythal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you. Find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
I would say let's go. Even though survive the encounter doesn't sound nice.
Another fragment of Mythal? In addition to the one inside you?
You are aware of what the word fragment means, are you not? One small piece of many, formed when something greater is broken. The first elves were spirits, as you well know, and when a spirit is broken, it may shatter into pieces, each holding part of the original. Among the ancient elves who became known as gods, Dirthaman and his brother, Falondine, are but one example.
Interesting. I still have to wrap my head around like all of them being spirits. Cool. It was always this choice you would have to make. I guess makes sense. Makes sense with the whole build-up also of Solas. And we kind of have to decide his fate. Let's see. Getting this fragment will give an option at the end of the game. Oh, that's cool.
All of that sounded great until survive the encounter.
You know Solas, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mythal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mythal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient.
And I guess the fragment, the other fragment of Mythal, also just like remembers the betrayer, right?
This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mythal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
Ooh,
if she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Elganon and Gillenane, or against the Dreadwolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
Yeah, I really think we need that. All elves or spirits. Yeah. Or at least all of the original elves, right? Like the first elves only. We didn't used to be a spirit. Not all elves, the first elves are spirits and not the current ones. Yeah, agreed.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solas is Elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Elganon. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand, inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards,
And you were right, Madatan, about the wisdom part of the Dreadwolf.
Mathal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other?
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evenuris, and then by Solas, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
Because I mean, also she was like trusting and benevolent enough to give the other Evenuris a chance, and then they killed her. It's like the ultimate way of being wronged in her essence of benevolence, right? Yeah, they got bodies, then shit happened, gods were stifled behind the veil, and the elves were tied to their bodies. But Mythal was already a spirit, so not stuck. Yeah, and I mean, Mythal also wasn't, yeah, true. Because Mythal also was killed, she was like already a spirit again. Yeah, so complicated.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
Oh boy.
Thank you for the information, Morrigan.
I wonder if we can do that already.
There is one more thing, if I may. Something whispered not by myself, but Mythal. The elves have learned many of the glories and horrors of ancient Elvenon. Yet your people live in this world now as the old elves never could. Know it as they could not. There is your strength. 'Tis why you shall surpass what came before one day.
Did Mythal see this? Is it a prediction?
A hope from a mother to her distant children, no less beloved than any before them.
Such a cool character.